You're listening to DraftKings Network.
In the NFL, there is no margin for error. One mistake can change the outcome of a game. Science proves quality sleep can help boost reaction time, recovery time, and overall athletic performance. As the official sleep wellness partner of the NFL, Sleep Number's mission is to provide players with data and insights to optimize their sleep for the ultimate competitive edge. Sleep is essential for recovery, and we all have unique needs. That's why Sleep Number smart beds are perfect for couples, with individualized settings for each side. Since 2018, Sleep Number and the NFL have teamed up to bring quality sleep to elite athletes. 8 out of 10 NFL players, including 80% of Kansas City Chiefs players, trust Sleep Number for their best rest. And now, during Sleep Number's biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed, plus special financing for a limited time. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL. See store for details.
Now's a good time to remember where the story of tequila started. In 1795, the first tequila distillery was opened by the Cuervo family. And 229 years later, Cuervo is still going strong. Family owned from the start, same family, same land. Now's a good time to enjoy Cuervo, the tequila that invented tequila. Go to Cuervo.com to shop tequila or visit a store near you. Cuervo, now's a good time. Trademarks owned by Becle, SAB de CV. Copyright 2024. Próximo. Jersey City, New Jersey. Please drink responsibly.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings.
Why are you listening to this show?
The podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
This is very exciting. Are you guys excited right now? Because it is not merely that Stugotz has landed in Kansas City to officially signal that football has started. It's the Duke, the internationally ranked fourth insider in any continent, any country, any galaxy, fourth.
Top 5, and he's not 5, Dan.
That's correct. The Duke, Billy Gill. God bless football.
He dropped a dookie.
Has arrived in Kansas City. Where are you guys? What is that statue of? Tell me all the history you're standing in front of right there.
We are in front of an innovative pioneer, a man of vision, as the trophy says. This is the Lamar Hunt statue, Dan Le Batard. And as you can see here, we're also in front of the not 1, 2, 3, but 4 Lombardi trophies that the Kansas City Chiefs have won. We are at Arrowhead Stadium, and today, football is back.
It is back. Dan, did you realize the Lombardi trophies were that big? That's insane, right?
I am startled by the
hoist them over their head so easily. Right?
Yes, I am startled by the size of all of those. That's exactly how Stugotz would do it if he won 4 Super Bowl trophies. Stugotz, I was thrilled. I was legitimately made happy when I walked in here today, and on all the television screens, you were sitting between both of the Golics on the DraftKings network, and then the commentary started of how much better Mike Golic Sr. looks like he's aged since leaving ESPN than you have.
Oh, no question about it. And then I saw Trey Wingo, and he has aged better than I have as well, and he's 15 years older. But, Dan, this is like heaven for me. Arrowhead Stadium, football season is starting. I am sandwiched between the Golics. I see Trey Wingo, and I get a text from Adam Schefter that simply reads, Happy football. Oh, my God.
Oh, the porta-potties are rolling in, guys. It's about to start.
By the way, guys, there are 2 St. Louis's, a couple of St. Louis's cutting it up because we are 2 Kansases. I'm sorry, I'm tired. We got it at 2 in the morning. We are in Kansas City, Missouri right now. We're not actually in Kansas. If we walk like 50 feet to my left right now, we'll be in Kansas. But right now, Missouri.
Did you think we were in St. Louis?
I did.
Do it, Stugotz. Walk to Kansas.
He thought.
Cross
I'm
the
going
line.
to right now.
All right, hold on.
Let's walk to Kansas.
All right,
Hold on.
go ahead.
All right, so we're going to walk to Kansas. Danny, follow us.
All right.
Dan, can I tell you something? The people here are crazy. So we got here at local time about 7 a.m., and there's already outside of the parking lot people waiting to get in. But this is the thing that they do because where we had to drive in was gate 5, and there's like a line of already 50 cars waiting. The game doesn't start for another 12 hours. And their tailgating tents they've set up outside the stadium while they're waiting in line, and they're custom made and say Gate 5 crew. So they just come 12 hours, I guess, before every game, before the parking lot opens. Also, not that you've asked, but over there, so like these, I don't know if you can see these are like VIP tailgating things, I guess, for like companies, corporations, or whatever. And there was a lot of talk, a lot of hubbub in the offseason about the fact that there was going to be a Hallmark Christmas movie with the Chiefs. I can confirm that there is a Hallmark Christmas VIP setup here at the tailgate. No one's here yet, but they will be set up. There's a stage over there. I'm assuming there will be a performance of sorts. No confirmation as to who will be performing. There is speculation Taylor Swift will be in the building today. Will she be performing at that little stage over there? Who knows? Not I.
Are you guys in Kansas yet?
We're getting close.
I don't know.
We are getting close.
Feels like a lot more than 50 feet. That's what I'm.
I don't think that they've got any accurate information. Stugotz, I don't think that they're playing the Bengals, which is what you said yesterday. I don't think there are 2 St. Louis's. I don't think you're in St. Louis, and I don't think that you're steps away from Kansas.
There's the Golics over there, if you were wondering. Look at that. Look at this Good Morning America type setup here. Look at this.
So we are just 10 feet away,
Ooh,
10 steps away from being in Kansas.
You see us?
We are.
We should have brought a sign.
Oh, let's wave.
How are we going to get on TV?
All right, Billy, we're getting close to Kansas. Hey, stay with me.
Yeah.
All right.
That's Mikey A over there.
All right. Billy, one more step, and we're in Kansas. Here it is.
That's not true.
This is it.
That's not. You're deciding.
Step? So now?
No, I am telling you, I've been told by the people who work here that this is Kansas.
No, that's
You're
not,
in Kansas.
You're not in Kansas. You're not in Kansas. What do you mean?
We're not in Kansas anymore.
That's not the way any of this works.
Had to be said.
Or ooze if you listen to Mystery Crate.
There's a big Chiefs helmet over there. I mean, this is amazing.
Yeah, you want to see
Dan,
the helmet?
Football is back.
You know the helmets for that big, Dan? Look
this
at
is
the size
really
of this
fun.
helmet over here. Look at this thing.
Go to the helmet.
It's on wheels. Should we push it?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go to the helmet. See if you could get dragged off by security.
Let's take the helmet back to Missouri.
Also, in case anyone was wondering, what kind of rental car I was waiting for at 2 in the morning as Stugotz left me at the airport and went to the hotel in an Uber, it's a 15-passenger van that I got because that's all that was left.
Wait a minute, Billy. What happened?
Man was driving a 15-passenger van at 2 in the morning.
Billy, what happened at 2 o'clock in the morning?
Our flight arrived a little late, and there's time change. So we arrived around 1:32 a.m. Eastern time, and Stugotz told me that he had checked his bag. I said, okay, well, I have to go get the rental car that they told me about right before the flight. So I went to get the rental car, and then he said, all right, well, I'm just going to take an Uber back because, it doesn't make sense for you to have to drive over there and get me.
Guys, pass the mic through the helmet. It's like an Abbott and Costello bit.
He just hit himself in the face
so hard.
With the
he might be bleeding.
Fuentes.
I mean, it's unbelievable that Chris is producing the show from back in Miami. I have 2 guys with me that don't realize, hand me the mic once I get in the helmet. Sorry.
Yeah, there's also some user error there, too, Stugotz. Let's be honest. I would have loved you on your own trying to figure that one out.
Billy, can you give us...
What do you guys want to know? How do we best utilize our time here? What can we
Well,
tell
you've done fine so far through the first 6 minutes where you tell us that the people in the stadium told you could walk to Kansas. It's just over there, and you decided where Kansas is. If you could break any other news about changing the way that land is distributed throughout the Americas, or tell us what's happening in Kansas City at the hotel when you're spending time with Stugotz. Because, Billy, you haven't traveled with Stugotz a whole lot, and him getting up in the morning, smoking cigarettes, coffee breath, like the whole thing seems like it would smell bad.
Well, that's another thing, Stugotz. He acted surprised as though he didn't know the arrangement for today and was upset with me because he was on with the Golics starting at 7 a.m., so they're car left at 5:50 in the morning to make sure to get here on time, get everything set up, and then was upset with me when I was like, well, yeah, like we're trying to get there at 7:30. I'm not going on with them. We have to be there at 9:30, so we're going to try to get there by 7:30. And then he kept hitting me with, my plane landed 4 hours ago. To which I responded to myself, I was on that same plane. This excuse is not going to work with me. Like everyone else, you can kind of get to feel bad, but I was on that same flight and then waited an hour for a rental car.
Wait, you guys were on the same flight and he didn't wait for you?
That's what's funny about
I
this.
thought it was like a different flight, and it's like he was supposed to wait. No, same flight? This is ridiculous.
It is.
I am just finding out now that Billy was on my flight.
Yeah, someone was in the front row in first class. Someone else was in the 19th row. So
not first class.
Different class situation here.
Stugotz, do you feel...
I'm doing my fantasy draft. Yeah.
Do you feel
That is true. He arrived at the airport and told me that he couldn't talk to me because he had a fantasy draft as we were boarding the flight, which is insane.
Do you feel any remorse?
Back to you, Dan.
Do you feel any remorse, Stugotz, about what you... What do you mean about what? That Billy needed you to take him back to the hotel because you were on the same flight, and you did know that you were on the same flight, and you didn't want to waste any more time, so you let him pick up a 15-passenger minivan and drive...
Not a minivan. That's a van, Dan.
No, there's a big boy van. I'm looking into getting one of these. There's so much room in there.
Billy is leaving out certain details, okay? I checked a bag in. Billy did not. I had to go to baggage claim, and I was telling Billy in an effort to be efficient, hey, you go straight to the rental car, take it to the hotel. I will pay for an Uber and go to the hotel. I have to get my bag. Plus, I had to wake up earlier than Billy did, so I just wanted to get to a bed and get some sleep. And so Billy is leaving those details out.
Pretended he didn't know he had to get up early and then was like, I don't want to say blaming me, but blaming me. Back to you, Dan.
Billy, you were skeptical, or you made a sound that seemed skeptical about how well Trey Wingo has aged. Why did you do that, and what has happened this morning? Has Trey Wingo been defeated by morning radio? Did he immediately start aging when he started doing morning radio, and he went from being beautiful? Yes.
Listen. This is just between us. He's just been wandering around the parking lot. I don't know if you come here, Danny. I don't know if you could see him back there. He's just been wandering around kind of by himself a little bit. We noticed before, like
a loon.
You see these metal pylons here. Come here, Danny. Stugotz, give me that microphone.
Can I stay in the helmet?
No, sure. You can stay in the helmet, but give me this microphone. Don't move. Just stay there. Then I know where you are. We saw before a situation where Trey, I guess, was bored and like, follow me, Danny. Danny, turn this way. Look at me. Zoom out. All right. Trey was just doing one of these, where he was kind of just going in and out of the pylon.
The old weave.
And someone compared it to like an Olympic like ski slalom situation that he was doing. And I feel bad because they flat out told it, like, this place is hard to get into and there's levels of security and it's like confusing or whatever. They've pretty much told us you can't leave because you're not going to be able to get back in. So we're here through the end of the game, and I think that has hit Trey in a way that it's hit everyone else differently. And I don't think that he's super thrilled that he has to be here for, I don't know, another 16 hours potentially. So we're just kind of leaving Trey alone until we need to talk to him.
Danny, pan to him again. We want to see him again. Where's sad Trey? Come on, let me see him. Where's he at? Find him again.
He has said that he's too far away. He's off in the distance
Danny.
over there. Oh, don't look him in the eyes. A lovely man.
Not just lovely.
He's going to be on God Bless Football today.
But symbolically, that lovely man just needs to be wandering around the fringes of football. Like wherever football is and wherever football is going to start, Trey Wingo, you can understand how, if you've seen what's happened to us the last 3.5 years, you can understand how it is that one gets untethered when they leave ESPN and the center of football and gets thrown to the fringes of football.
Stugotz is...
I need this photo, Stugotz.
This isn't the perfect shot.
That's an iconic photo.
Let's get that glam shot of Stugotz.
Oh, yes, with the porta-potties in there. That is iconic right there.
What a beautiful photo. Bigger and better than the Super Bowl trophies right there. Those are Stugotz's 4 Super Bowl trophies. Can I get...
I'll make that my Twitter banner. That was incredible.
Yes, it was wonderful. You'd think we'd planned it. Can you guys please get up for me on the screen the before and after photos photos of Golic and Stugotz, what they looked like.
Trey's back if you want
That's
to
at
check in with him.
ESPN right there, what we're looking at.
This is them at ESPN. There's an unhealthy Mike Golic and a very healthy Stugotz. And now, what do we have?
Very healthy.
As Trey walks into the stadium.
Oh, sad Trey. All right.
I made them turn the camera around because Trey was losing around.
You want us to check in with him?
Yes, we'll check back in with you later. Thank you, guys.
I'm afraid.
Howdy, folks. It is Mike Ryan, and over the course of our 20 years together, there have been a lot of changes. A lot of changes to the show, a lot of changes to my body, a lot of changes to you and your listening habits. But one thing that hasn't changed is the undebatable great taste of Miller Lite. Another thing that hasn't changed? It's less filling. So what is the best thing about the original light beer? Miller Lite sparked this debate way back in 1975, and we still haven't settled it. You can understand why the debate rages on. Great taste versus less filling. But why not have both? That's what Miller Lite presents in that beautiful white can. A light beer that actually tastes like beer. You don't have to choose what's best. Miller Lite has great taste and is less filling. Tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
Don Le Batard.
I had Rachel and Emma both home, and I was in a fight with Rachel. And I said, if you roll your eyes one more time, there's going to be a problem. A big problem. And she said, really? What are you going to do?
Stugotz.
Oh, goddamn.
I mean, that's where
I didn't have an answer.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
That was a pretty good photograph we got of Stugotz
So good.
there in front of the porta-potties, ringing in the new NFL season from Kansas City, or as he likes to call it, St. Louis.
Also, if we Google it, there's got to be more than one St. Louis. It's a safe bet.
St. Louis, Kansas.
Yeah, but you knew that there are certain moments in time, be it politics, be it athletics, where you see something happen live and you're like, man, that's going to make one hell of a picture. And as Stugotz was posing there inside the Kansas City Chiefs helmet with porta-potties, we couldn't have planned. If we tried to plan that out, it would have gone wrong. With porta-potties going behind him and a stadium also behind him, that made me so excited for football, and it's honestly the best Stugotz has looked in years.
Yeah. Well, thank you for mentioning that, because we didn't get to the photo that I wanted to get to of before and after, and this was good journalism done by Danny and the crew out there, because the segment required the punctuation of a haunting and haunted Trey Wingo meandering around the parking lot facility, not knowing where to go, burnt out by morning radio, like just totally fried by what ESPN did to him by making him get up early in the morning. And I say ESPN did to him because anyone that has to work morning radio anywhere will age 10 years faster than anyone else. So here is a photo of Mike Golic at ESPN and Stugotz at ESPN. This is when they were much younger. Golic, it is funny to see him that way. He doesn't look like that at all. He is absolutely sexy silver fox. Like
this gives me hope.
He has lost a lot of weight, and women are absolutely looking him up and down because of how good he looks. He is a very large man. He is. I very rarely feel small around people. Both Golics make me feel a little bit small.
Ozempic?
Wow.
No, he actually, I think he owns a bunch of Orange Theories. Yeah, I talked to him about this because it's the first thing that you say. When we were at ESPN, he looked a certain way, and he's had such an incredible glow-up at an age where it's hard to have a glow-up. And I asked him, what's your secret? Orange Theories.
He says buying Orange Theories.
Buying Orange Theories and then getting the money from that to have Ozempic.
Having money.
There you go.
Can we see this photo now, please, of them now? Stugotz does look a little bit better than he did on my television screen, but Stugotz
not good.
Does not look good. No, he does not. He
believe it or not, that is a flattering photo of Stugotz.
Golic's got the veiny neck going. It's just all working for him right now.
Everything is working for him.
He looks like
a veiny neck. I'm thirsty.
Love a veiny neck.
Am I doing? Do I want to bang my Golic Senior? What is happening right now? This guy's incredible. He's got me all hot and bothered.
Yeah, feeling tingles in places.
Yeah, he's a very sexy man.
Tony, because people around here don't know how sometimes things hurt, you have not spoken since you got that playoff stat wrong. Because
that kind of thing, Dano. What I meant to say that there was 5 playoff wins for the Cowboys since 1995, but I also had a lot of things written down. They've had 12 seasons of 9-7 or better, and 12 seasons of 8-8 or worse. So there's a lot of mediocrity.
Roy, why are you laughing? Why do you laugh at the failure of others, Roy?
I don't laugh at the failure of others. I'm just saying what he just said. I meant to say 5 playoff wins since 1995.
But he said 0.
He said 0.
That's right.
0, yeah.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Have you ever said 5 when you actually meant 0?
There's a lot of numbers. If you see the papers that I'm looking at, there's a lot of numbers on them, and a 0 just slipped in.
Well, thank you, because speaking of numbers, I've got some for you. Give me the stat of the day here.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
I'm going to give you guys 2 OLI stat of the days. These are not the stat of the day. It's building up to the stat of the day. The bronze medalist for stat of the day. Do any of you want to guess how many times Luis Arias has struck out since the All-Star break? Since the All-Star break, contact hitter, led the league in hitting 2 years and batting
Gotta
average.
be 10 to 15.
Once.
Twice. 2 times. Thank you, Amin, for ruining the game, just like Stugotz would. 2 times Luis Arias has struck out since the All-Star break. Does anyone want to guess in the last 50 games, 50 baseball games, how many the White Sox have won? The White Sox have won how many games in their last 50?
52.
I was scrolling through. I was scrolling through the DraftKings sportsbook, and I couldn't believe some of these odds for baseball games
It's
featuring
crazy.
the White Sox.
They won last night, and they're like plus 400.
I saw the Orioles as like minus 400 in baseball.
22.
The White Sox have won 5 of their last 45, if you were not counting last night.
Or 0, depending. Right, Tony?
Thank you.
Yes, or 0. Correct.
A lot of numbers. I'm going to show you this page. It's a lot of zeros on here.
I think Grady Sizemore has actually improved their winning percentage, right?
He'd have to, I would suppose. But they're on pace to be the worst team in the history of our most historic sport. But neither of those are the stat of the day. The stat of the day, stolen by Dan Patrick. Stolen from Dan Patrick, I should say. Not by Dan Patrick. Dan Patrick, a pioneer here on Peacock. He helped us learn a lot of things, and he taught us stat of the day. That's something we just simply stole from him. We said it was a retaliatory measure. It was not. We said he had stolen something. It was not. We just simply stole it and then made an excuse. This is from Denny Carter. Anthony Richardson, the Colts quarterback, since high school, has started 17 games.
Again, but you saw him throw that ball in the pro day, and you're like, wait a second.
I'm just telling you, the starting quarterback for the Colts since high school has started 17 football games.
That's wild.
That's nuts.
Hello, universe. It's Cynthia from the Dan Batard Show with Stugotz. Let's be real. Stress is everywhere. I mean, what are my stressors? I don't know. Maybe Dan texted me at 3 a.m. to order him a costume that he needs tomorrow. But what if the secret to managing all this stress is Magnesium Breakthrough by Bioptimizers? This is a one-of-a-kind product. It's designed to reverse low levels of magnesium, which could be causing a multitude of other health problems. What sets Magnesium Breakthrough apart, it's its ability to maintain healthy stress hormones, balancing your nervous and hormonal systems, and boost the neurotransmitter that promotes relaxation and flow. In other words, it's like hitting the brakes on my body's stress response, helping me feel calmer and improving my quality of life. It's the only organic, full-spectrum full-spectrum magnesium supplement that provides all 7 essential forms of magnesium to help you truly manage stress and improve your sleep. Don't miss out on the most relaxing sleep ever with Magnesium Breakthrough. For an exclusive offer, go to buyoptimizers.com/Dan and use promo code Dan during checkout to save 10% off. And if you subscribe, not only will you get this amazing discount and free gifts, but you will also make sure your monthly supply is guaranteed.
Dan Le Batard.
Pablo leads all of podcasting in reading while smiling. If you listen to ESPN Daily, he sounds like he's having the time of his life.
Stugotz.
Coming up next, I'm going to tell you how the Savannah Bananas are changing
How do you know I'm
Savannah Bananas?
How do you know I'm smiling?
That's how I find my vocal range. Sometimes I just say Savannah Bananas. Savannah Bananas.
Yeah.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Pablo Torre from Pablo Torre Finds Out is joining us. I believe this is the 1-year anniversary of Pablo Torre, the award-winning Pablo Torre Finds Out. He follows his curiosities and he wins awards.
Well, he won the Edward R. Murrow Award. Oh,
That's
look
right.
at me. I'm a journalist.
Dork.
Edward R. Murrow.
What's that voice? Why is the Edward R. Murrow Award getting that voice? What's that about?
Edward R. Murrow sounds like the name of a middle school.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Does Edward R. Murrow sound like the name of a middle school? Because it does. He's totally right.
Generally, middle schools are named after impressive people. I don't know why that is a burn.
It's a burn because he got it right. It doesn't sound like a prestigious journalism award. It sounds like a middle school. He is correct on this. And since you're a prestigious journalism winner, one of the last keepers of journalism, we wanted to bring you on to ask you about this Commanders story because I was more interested in the way that it was broken than anything that was broken by the content or the news. If you're just joining us and don't know this story, VP of content for the Commanders was on a second date. He was secretly recorded by a reporter, and I didn't think that was allowed. And he said some things that were stereotypical, but not that controversial. Controversial because they were being said by someone who represents the NFL. I mean, controversial, but not that controversial. And I was, from what I read, more bothered by the way the information was gathered than the information. So what do you know about how the information was gathered?
Yeah. Using the experience I've gained in 1/20th of the time your show has existed, Dan, I've come to realize that degree of difficulty when it comes to journalism is a lot of the point of journalism. And degree of difficulty, of course, is imposed by ethics. And so James O'Keefe, who you may remember as the troll who used to run a thing called Project Veritas, is the guy whose company published this piece. And so I've known his work for a long time because he's one of these far-right, totally dishonest grifters, but don't even take my word on that. Just go look it up. He got fired by his own organization, lawsuits, etc., all of that, alleged, blah, 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 blah. Okay. The point being, the information he got, it's hard to dispute that the thoughts he got were candid and, in a way, the most honest version of what this Commander's head of content, VP of content, actually believed. And for that reason, of course, I am perversely always interested in, what's that like? But in terms of, the journalism of it, He's cheating the game, literally. He is breaking rules, breaking any ethical code, which requires you to disclose that you're not secretly recording somebody under false pretenses. And so in that way, as a person who cares about degree of difficulty in journalism, it's entirely a problem, even though the information, of course, I clicked on, which is the larger problem, I guess.
Okay, but let's break this down for a second because this feels dirty, and
yes,
it feels like it'd be illegal in a lot of places,
in some states.
And now we're doing now we're doing borderline illegal journalism to shame an NFL VP of content. I don't even know how high I'd have to climb for me to be okay with what you're saying here, Pablo. I don't know how powerful the person would have to be for me to be okay with recording this way. How much of a public official, maybe if it was just some atrocity being said by a very powerful public politician, position, I might be willing to stretch some journalism ethics here, but this seems like a reach to go get a Commander's VP of content on this.
Yeah, it's first off just not journalism, and any claim to it. Again, what is journalism? A set of practices that impose a degree of difficulty based on ethics. It's not that. He calls it that. It is not that. But the conversation you're describing is one, of course, that real large institution like the New York Times have debated when it comes to, oh, we got these leaks. You know, we have a source inside who is saying stuff that maybe are disclosing troop movements during a war, right? Like, do we want to go through with this because of a public good being discovered? The classic move when it comes to this guy, James O'Keefe, and his whole operation is that these are actually, in the main, very low stakes, entirely tabloid sort of news stories that in this case actually do sort of comport with what his audience actually would like to believe about the NFL. What the guy was saying, which is that all of these players and fans are not liberals. They're actually, on the side of all of these issues that the media doesn't want you to know they're really on. That stuff isn't shocking, and it's also not something that does anything to advance a new understanding of certainly what might qualify as public interest. So yeah, it's a nothing burger in general that I clicked on because I wanted to see what uncensored people talking is like. And again, that's why he did it. I am guilty of the thing that he wanted me to do.
Pablo, I think the real question here is was this the worst second date of all time?
Man, it's up there, right?
It can't get much worse.
Gotta be up there.
And I'm not saying because he got caught in a sting operation and he might lose his job. It's because he talked about the NFL on his second date. Like, hey, maybe you ask some questions, buddy. Maybe you get to know her a little bit.
I mean, the critique that I would give the VP of content who got ensnared in this entire thing is that he was so excited for someone to ask him these questions.
Oh.
And it was like, and I think one of the setups was, and it was a bad, even if this is just like an unethical spy operation, it was also not a good one. If you look at what the questions were like, hey, could you go through your take on Commanders fans again? Like that's really what you're talking about on this date. And he was like, absolutely. I figured someone would eventually ask me for my demographic breakdown of Commanders fans on a second date.
I told you guys that's what happened. I told you he absolutely asked.
Pretty weak ass mark for a sting operation too. Like if you're gonna secretly tape somebody about the inner workings of the NFL, go after the dude that runs the Commanders Twitter account.
How do you catch them on Hinge, by the way? They just luck of the draw? They just keep swiping until we get to
That's the
them?
VP of content. Get him.
Yeah, what can we do with this? I just got matched with the VP of content for the Commanders.
Do you think he puts VP of content Commanders on his Hinge profile?
Pablo is so right here when he says the VP of content for the Commanders had to be thinking to himself at some point before all of this was published, man, I'm really connecting with her. She's asking me all the right questions I've always wanted to be asked by somebody who's super fascinated by my identity as someone who's an insider in the NFL. Like, he thought that date was going really well. He really misread the situation.
Oh, yeah. He's like, I'm killing it right now.
She is fascinated.
Is this love? Is this what love feels like? Talking about the demographic breakdown of the fan base of the NFL team whose Twitter account I now operate, having followed a person who sort of saw this team through a demographic scandal.
See, now I'm thinking about him on the drive home, calling up his good buddy Derek or whatever. Hey, Derek, how'd the date go? Oh, man, it was incredible. She asked me questions.
I've never been asked these kinds of questions.
I've never been so truthful.
I opened up, Derek. I told her everything.
I gave her my vulnerable side. I gave it all up to her. I think there's going to be a third date, and then he opens his computer.
I don't want to get ahead of myself, but keep some dates open in March of next year.
She's the one. I've never been able to talk football like this on a second date.
Derek, I've always thought that love is when the soul finds its counterpoint in another person's demographic breakdown of a Twitter account's following. And now I know better.
And Derek is the one who told him, see, I told you, man, you got to put yourself out there. Get on the apps.
Take some chances.
Take some chances.
What's the other guy, the friend who encouraged him to go on the date, is the person I want to meet.
How'd it go?
What's the worst that could happen? She's just going to say no, and then you just go back in there, man. You got to take it out back. You can't hit a home run if you don't swing.
When Amin says might be fired, I want to let's do some punitive damages here and figure out this part, because Peter Thiel bankrupted Gawker because he objected to being outed, and then he funded Hulk Hogan's entire campaign because he was hell-bent on the revenge, the successful revenge of that's not ethical what you just did to me, reporting that outing me when I was not prepared for that. I don't know whether taping someone and costing them their job is rises to that level, but what is going to happen here in terms of damages to everybody involved? Like, can you fire somebody for something that was done this unethically?
I mean, I feel like we have contemplated such questions in our own industry before. People who have been taped, people who did not know they were being taped, people who said some things that they did not know they were being taped saying. The answer is because this is a business of reaction and not a business of principle, which is to say this is, working for a company in America. Absolutely, I can see him being fired, and I can see very little plausible defense being offered, because at a certain point, this is a public relations problem, and maybe you handle it more delicately. But I believe that as much as I would like to not give the scalp to a person who is again doing stuff as a total troll, unethical dirtbag, I can see this working out for him in very specific ways.
I think the bigger problem is for this, the VP of content, is can you continue to do your job? Let's forget about like the PR or whatever. Can you walk into the practice facility and have like a social media campaign where we ask the players, what's your favorite ice cream? And they'll be like, you're the MFer who thinks I'm a dumbass because I got hit in the head too many times.
The question I want to ask the two of you as we talk this story out on the air, okay? The shamed VP of content here, if everything Pablo is saying is so, is a victim here.
Yes.
Hard stop.
Yes.
Hard stop.
Correct.
And that's not how it's going to be treated. And it's going to keep escalating. And the context of this is not going to matter. The Commanders aren't going to, they're not going to say that. The Commanders are not going to come out and say he's a victim. And wouldn't you want your company to do that if you were a victim?
Yeah. No, I mean, look, the person that this VP of content needs to speak on his behalf to make this a story that Americans could wrap their minds around is Derek.
Pablo, what's on Pablo Torre Finds Out? What is it that you're shilling here as part of your 1-year anniversary? We are celebrating 20 years. We dwarf you with Stugotz around the Kansas City porta-potties in terms of history, but you are fastly gaining on us in terms of listeners because your podcast is very popular.
That's right. The feeling you have on your heels, Dan, is the nipping. That PTFO is doing. And today I got a guest who held me to account for something that I said while substitute hosting your show, Dan, over the summer, which is that I believe the NFL has a jargon fetish. I believe that lots of people have no idea what's being said on 90% of NFL media at this point, and they're nodding along because things like, whatever, Spider 2Y Banana are repeated like incantations over and over again. And so I got Nate Tice, former quarterback, former NFL scout, host of a really good podcast himself, to explain to me what the everybody is saying and how it got to be this way. Because it didn't used to be this way. Now it is entirely this way. And I feel like a jock bullying nerds despite being a nerd bullied by jocks.
Pablo Torre Finds Out, there are not many podcasts anywhere, non-athlete podcasts. He might be the only one that's like really broken out in this genre over the last 5 years, non-athlete podcasts. I urge you to find it wherever it is you get your podcast. Thank you, Pablo, and happy anniversary.
Thank you, Dan, and you too.
The audience, I should tell you, okay, because we screwed this up yesterday. A lot of different ways, and I heard from corporate on this. I love getting those calls on the way to work.
The uniforms, they're in.
Not the uniforms. No,
damn it.
On our second day on Peacock, like this is a big deal, right? It's a big deal for a lot of different reasons. We're on in more places than we've ever been. And we're on it more times than we've ever been. And it's ubiquitous. Our show right now has arrived so that you don't have to, basically, at any time, video or audio. There are times in the schedule where you can't get us, but you can find us in a lot of places, more places than ever. And so I'm going to give you the rundown of all of those places and times right now.
Here we go.
Ubiquitous.
That's right. I got in trouble on the way in. I loved, leaving ESPN, founding my own company, and then getting in trouble on the way in because I didn't read the schedule right. That's a lot of fun.
Can I get the country of origin?
So we are on the DraftKings Network Monday to Friday from 11 to 2 Eastern. And you can catch us on Samsung TV Plus, the Roku channel, and Vizio Watch Free Plus, and many more. I don't know what any of those things are.
You say Roku the way I imagine Christopher Walken would.
I told you it's like a dish that I would order in
Roku,
a Korean restaurant. That's right. To see all the places you can watch the show on DraftKings Network, go to DraftKingsNetwork.com. Now, you can also find the show on Peacock and the NBC Sports Fast channel Monday to Friday from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern, and on YouTube, and on Max. And also, for podcasts, we're on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, and you can get us Sirius XM Channel 85. We're back on the radio, also from 12 to 3 Eastern.
Simple.
Simpler than how we did it yesterday. Not yet simple, because I don't know what some of those things are. We are on in some places.
No one does, Dan.
Is that true?
You don't know Roku? Roku City? They have a Major League Baseball game every week that I occasionally gamble on.
Roku.
Yeah.
Roku.
Now imagine you saying that, but in a Hess uniform.
Oh, Dan, we would be so fresh.
And then him in a fighter pilot outfit.
Yep. And I have my name on it right here.
Like a Dragon Ball Z character.
Make it sound like Sudoku.
Ubiquitous.
Roku. We're on Roku as well. But I was supposed to do it because Dan Patrick is a big lead-in. It's a giant lead-in.
Yes.
The NBC in general, their channels have more than 4 million people. And so I fouled all of this up yesterday in a way that disrespected Peacock, disrespected Dan Patrick, disrespected our audience.
But just a question. The message from corporate was about us being confusing, not about us making cock jokes for the entirety
That
of
is
the first
correct.
segment.
I was surprised that the call, that part was surprising to me, that's how that went. I thought I was going to get the call for the second thing the moment, because Stugotz was strategic about this. He didn't make the joke until the moment he was off the air with Dan Patrick. And then all of a sudden we were saying to everybody, we're on cock minus.
Yeah. Another one that I actually found out by perusing, Pluto TV is like a big deal. NBC Sports has a fast channel on Pluto TV, so their show is also now on Pluto.
Nice. I like Pluto TV.
Everywhere, including Pluto.
Stugotz here. The most important things in my life are my wife, my children, and of course, their safety. That's why I've had Simply Safe Home Security in my house for 7 years now. I want you to have the same peace of mind that I and so many listeners experience every day, which is why I partnered with Simply Safe to offer listeners 50% off a system. Just visit simplysafe.com/DLB to claim it. Whether it's setting the alarms before we all go to bed or setting that alarm before we go on another vacation, Simply Safe gives me amazing peace of mind. Simply Safe provides faster response for better protection with Fast Protect monitoring and Live Guard protection. Protect your home with Simply Safe right now. Batard Show listeners can get 50% off any new Simply Safe system, plus a free indoor security camera with Fast Protect monitoring. Just visit simplysafe.com/DLB to claim this offer. It's for a limited time only, so be sure to order today. That's simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now's a good time to remember where the story of tequila started. In 1795, the first tequila distillery was opened by the Cuervo family. And 229 years later, Cuervo is still going strong. Family owned from the start, same family, same land. Now's a good time to enjoy Cuervo, the tequila that invented tequila. Go to Cuervo.com to shop tequila or visit a store near you. Cuervo, now's a good time. Trademarks owned by Becle, SAB, the CV. Copyright 2024. Próximo. Jersey City, New Jersey. Please drink responsibly.